sky. That's the message.
Welcome back to Give Me Some Truth. It's kind of old school. Clint and I are in the booth together. It's old school, new school. Clint and I are in the booth together, but we have our brand new 2-day on the job
digital
content creator, Samuel. We will do a much better and formal introduction of him in somewhere in the weeks to come here. But he is, as they say, running the ones and twos.
I mean, yeah.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't know either. That's like a turntable reference, but you know, the ones and twos are the turntables, right? I don't think they.
Do you know that for real? Because I think in podcasting they talk about the ones and the twos. Is that not? Have they morphed this into something else?
Well, the ones and the zeros are all about computers. The ones and the twos, I think, are as a DJ reference. Pretty sure. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep your expectations low today. Apparently,
this is hearkening back to some of the stuff that we used to do, where we would just get in and pontificate about the subjects of the day. Sometimes business related, sometimes not.
Yeah, we're trying to introduce Samuel into
the Walkner Condon way.
Yeah,
the comfortably unique way that is Walkner Condon.
Yeah, sometimes we talk about deli meats.
Yeah, that was a good one. We need to go back and look at when we did that. It's got to be at least 5 years ago, right? 5, 6 years ago.
That's when we peaked. It's all been downhill since then.
We did that, and we put the Give Me Some Truth podcast sign on the wall, and then ever since then, it's just
So we're gonna come back up now. You'll be getting more of us lately.
Exactly.
Sam's gonna be doing things like what I really want is when I go like this on the video, and then he like puts a little graphic up there, like electricity thing,
like a bubble that has something in it. Something. Yeah. No.
Always a big weekend update fan, so I like that stuff behind me. So maybe we'll see some of that from Samuel. Maybe he'll bring in a whole bunch of lower thirds. Or that's my wife says that he needs to we need to have really good lower thirds, and I don't know what any of that means. He does.
That sounds made up. Is what that is.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean,
I just want exceptional lower thirds.
Like a weightlifting thing? Is that like don't skip leg day? Is that what that
kind
is?
of it. I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, you shouldn't skip leg day. You don't want a weak lower half.
Today's leg day for us.
That's true. Nate and I have
Mondays and Thursdays.
Are now joined at the hip at the gym, which, I mean, overall, what was your review of the gym so far? It's Carbon World Health. It's pretty close to here, and we go most afternoons, I would say.
Free plug? You giving a free plug to Carbon World Health?
I am. They've never even given me a sweatshirt or a T-shirt or anything the whole time I've been there. I've been there like over 4 years.
Tank top? No?
I really need one of those. Nothing. Like a little crop top, something like that.
No, not that. I started the first week of December last year. And this is funny because I came in because your trainer came to the Pizza Bruta event.
That's true. I invited him one day. I'm like, why don't you just stop by and get a free pizza?
And then I met him, and that was right after Thanksgiving because that's when the Packers played the Thursday night game. And then I came in the next week, and that was the beginning of the end, if you will.
Yeah, because you said okay, fine, I'll go to your stupid gym once, and then you signed up the next day.
That sounds a lot like me. I don't remember saying that, but that does sound like something I would say.
He was the guy in there. He's no longer the trainer there right now, but he's just swole. I mean, he's a huge man, but a really good trainer.
When that's your job. So Mitch just walked in the back door there. I think Mitch is one of the only people that actually wears a raincoat in this office when it's raining.
No, I just get rained on. You just walk faster.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But he puts the forethought into it to be like, it's going to rain today. And then he gets an umbrella or he gets his raincoat.
So it's one or the other, or does he do both ever?
Oh, no, I think he just does one or the other. Keith pretends to wear a rain jacket too, but that's just because I think he wants to wear that Joe Friday-esque jacket, like that khaki colored, with the belt. The
bear, is that Paddington?
Yeah, but the better reference is the beltless raincoat, which Morty Seinfeld invented with, I think, Jack Klompett. Griff's gonna be really mad at me if I got that reference wrong, but yeah, that's what Keith likes to try to wear.
Well, he also likes to wear the boots. That's the key.
Yeah, right. He
likes to wear the Wellingtons or whatever, just to. Yeah, that's Keith right there.
The boots that you wear 4 times a year.
Yeah, I mean, my wife has a pair of them too. I'm like,
right.
When do you go just traipsing through all these puddles? It's not going to happen. Half the time she's just going to the gym and then, whatever.
Right. And it's they're only worn on days where it's appropriate, obviously, but you have to then wait for the perfect raining day, not snowing day. Not necessarily when it's 90 degrees out either, so it's I literally wear them 4 times a year. But when it rains on that day, you see everybody gets them out of the closet.
That's true.
It's like people get excited that, okay, now's the day that I can wear these boots.
I'm starting to go backwards. Like when I shovel snow now in my driveway,
Okay.
I have transitioned from snow boots that are legitimate, and now I try to wear work boots. I wear like old school Red Wings now. That's it. I just like it. I have more traction. My feet are colder, but it works fine. Like I want the traction. I want to be able to get through the snow.
So that's your deal. You swapped insulation for traction is your deal?
That's exactly it. And plus, I'm like, I need all the traction I can get because I'm on the last. I actually have to get a new snow thrower this year. So it's been, I calculated it. I think it was 20 years since I bought my other one. So I think I'm buying another Aaron's because it lasted 20 years.
See, that pretty much checks out because I think I got mine like 4 years after you got yours. And that would probably be about right of maybe 15, 16 years ago that I got mine.
And you told me, oh, get some chains put on. And I did after that. That made all the difference. But then it kind of has had some issues since then. Like the last 12 months have not gone well. Like it's completely fallen apart. I've been through like 5 cotter pins because it only took me like 5 cotter pins to realize, or shear pins to realize that the whole thing is bent. So it just keeps breaking the shear pins or cotter pins. And then I have to like do that. And then my dad, who was watching my kids, he was like, I will not come here and watch your kids during the winter unless you get a new snow thrower, because the last time that he used it. So first of all, you can't electric start it because the prongs where you plug in the electric start, those broke off. And then he was trying the ripcord.
Fire hazard either, by the way.
And he ripcorded, like he broke the rope on the ripcord, and the thing is hellaciously bent. So it's just not even, I'm going to have to get a new one.
So dare I ask you when the last time is you've changed the oil in it?
Oh, I did it once.
In 20 years.
I'll full disclosure here. Full disclosure, I'm going to tell everybody. I've changed the oil once, and that's only because I took it into the shop and they fixed some stuff, and I told them you should probably change the oil. So I've changed the oil once. Okay. I did put stable in it almost every year, but not every year. So sometimes there was some gas sitting in it, but it lasted me 20 years. I mean,
what more do you want?
Yeah, and I saved all the money on the oil changes.
Right.
Yeah.
So at the time you probably spent what, like $700 on it?
That's about right.
Okay.
Yeah.
20 years. So it's cost you $40 a year. That's pretty darn good.
Just put a little gas in it. Although I would say this, only the premium gas that has none of the ethanol in it. Like I've been very hardcore about that because it's not as good for your engine.
I don't know. Is it not? I have no idea. It's one of those.
I don't know.
I've heard the same thing like 100 times, and I'm like, I don't know. Is it that big of a deal?
Dude, I would say that old guys tell you 2 things. That you need to have no reformulated gas, and then you also need to have stable in the winter.
Like
and I've done both of those things, and that's totally turned out great. So I'm doing it.
But you're getting a new one before the season starts, before the snow flies?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did what everybody does now, is that I filled out like a contact us page basically saying I want to spend, I know it's going to be way more than $700 now because I want to get a slightly bigger one now. And now I think I want to get ones that actually have like hand warm, like you can get grips that are hand warmers now. Like apparently the technology is better than 20 years ago. So allegedly. So I think it's going to work better, but they're more expensive. So then I send out I'm going to give an anti-plug here. I sent a contact us to Middleton Power Center, basically like, hey, take my money. I'm going to buy one. Can I get anything for my trade-in? And they didn't even get back to me yet.
They chuckled at you about
it's like
the
a week.
trade-in
No,
idea?
it's a week later. They didn't even get back to me.
Yeah. See, it's funny because I go to the inverse, not the inverse of that, the cousin of that, Prairie Power Center in Sun Prairie. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Great naming conventions, by the way. Middleton Power Center, Sun Prairie Power Center.
Not Sun Prairie Power Center. Prairie Power Center.
Okay.
And they are tremendous over there. They have my brush cutter right now. Just did some work on the chainsaw. So I might be getting talked into a big boy chainsaw.
So what's
like
the difference?
$900 chainsaw.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have a few trees on your property.
I have a few trees on the property, and the one that I have has proven to be somewhat not quite capable, if you will, in some situations. It does well for trees that are 15 inches in diameter, something like that.
Well, and your son takes care of the ones that are like 3 inches in diameter or less, right? With the hacksaw, I love that about him.
No, just an axe.
An axe
chops it down. But that's great, except like when one falls across the path, he's not hustling out there with an axe to take care of it, So
what are you not teaching him? I mean, come on.
Many things apparently. So there might be a new chainsaw in my future.
Well, and so I think that the inquiring people also want to know a little bit more about your goats, because you haven't talked enough about them on the podcast. And so you've had goats for, 6 months now?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, in the spring we got them. So here's where Samuel could put up an image. He could, or maybe a reel, like a reel of images. Is that what it would be, Samuel? A reel of images?
Film the goats, right? There you go. And if you ever want some trail cam footage, I mean, he's got plenty, because we see a few pictures there too.
What if we decided to run simultaneous the podcast that we normally do on the schedule that we do it on, and then for the same amount of time as the podcast, 20 minutes or whatever, it's just footage of the goats, and see which one got more traction. And I'm pretty sure that we would lose to just random goat footage for 20 minutes.
You also have the goats all named. Like,
this is true. Yeah. One's just got his name changed though, because he's, and we let the kids name the goats. So, I'm going to forget one of them now. We have, Griff named Paul. So Griff, that's the one that he named. Natalie named, Emma named Taylor. Nigel was one of their names that we stayed with. We have that one. So I don't know if, trying to think of if one of them named Nigel, if we just kept that. I think we just kept that. And then Adam's name got changed to Dilbert, because he's a little bit kind of Dilbert-ish.
Dilberty.
Okay. And then we have Eddie. And I didn't name Eddie. He came with the Eddie name as well. So Eddie and Taylor are twins.
So if they're twins, do they have different bells or different sashes of some sort?
Collars, but no, they do have different collars, but they're very they're always right next to each other. And Selena started to take them on walks, which is pretty funny. Like, you can just take them on a walk and they'll just follow you.
So do you grab do you grab kind of leash the first one and they all follow?
Yeah. So you can kind of lead the first one, but then there's times that you don't even really need to do that. But when they find a food along the path that they want to eat, they're not following you anyway. They're just going to stop and eat. So typically when you take them out, you're just taking them out to let them eat stuff. And so you don't really care how far they make it. And the funny thing is so Selena will take them away from their home pasture, right, on the trail. And they'll eat a little bit, and then she'll go further, and they'll eat a little more, and go further, and eat a little more. The second she turns around, they just run back to the pasture. They run right past her and right back to the pasture. Okay, it's time to go back. And they just, it's like a running back going down the sidelines.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I have to see this.
The first time she did it, she was freaked out, because she's like, oh my God, what if I get up there and they're not up there? Then where are they? Oh, right back to the pasture. So it's
so does she leave the door open so that they can go in? Okay.
And so they willingly go away from it, and then eat, and as long as she's leaving. But the second she turns around, off they go.
Does this happen with you or any of the kids?
I've only been out with them with her.
Okay.
Obviously they like her more than me, of course.
Yeah, she's been around
right
a lot more.
And just obviously they do.
She's nurturing. That's
true. It's very true. So I don't know. I'm afraid to, because if I did it myself and then all of them just decided to head down the ridge in 3 different directions, well, then I've got a problem.
That's true.
Yeah. I try not to do things like that, because that could be bad.
So, well, if it would be a good story, but it might wreck the whole rest of your day.
I think it would wreck more than just a day. I think that would be bad for me.
How far do you think she's gone so far? She gotten a quarter mile up, half mile up?
No, she's probably gone a couple 100 yards maybe.
Okay. All right.
300 yards maybe.
So we're kind of testing the waters there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, it's kind of like a plot. It's kind of it's just they stop and then they eat, and then they go another 15 yards and they stop and they eat again. So you're not setting any speed records until they turn around, in which case it's like somebody just lit a fire and they are running away from it.
I think that
this would be interesting going into the first winter season though with them. See, this is a whole.
That's true. You got to feed them a bunch of hay. And then you hope that it's kind of a mild winter, so you can probably take them out and they can graze a little bit more.
It's like under 35. Like you shouldn't really take them out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But thankfully they're pretty lazy. They just like to just kind of hang around. They don't.
Well, and the other thing that we should probably inform the listeners about is that my father and my brother are coming out of retirement tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
So we'll have to update you all on how the hunt goes because Nate's taking them hunting, and it's been a while.
It's going to be great. This is going to be good. You're a little bit more skeptical. I think it's going to be great.
Just hope they don't shoot themselves or end up shooting a dog or something. I don't really know. It's
You're convinced that something will happen.
Well, I know you're about a bit like, let's just say you're experienced, you research, you kind of know, and they like to do stuff every once in a while, like shoot a deer and then race after it, like they're instead of you're supposed to let them sit down, and
it's not a good idea.
Yeah, it's just a couple. I think
little
might not be as technically proficient as you are.
Nuanced.
So yeah.
Totally different subject. I posed this question to you yesterday, and I didn't get an answer as to why, but I said Family Feud or Press Your Luck.
Press Your Luck, 100%.
You said Press Your Luck, 100%.
I mean, that's not.
And is it just because you did well on a Press Your Luck slot machine in Vegas when you were out there for the Packer game?
I did. So I went out.
Or would
to
you
Vegas.
answer the question the same way had that not been the case?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I do like Family Feud. Like, I enjoy watching that. I do think that it's oddly, it's one of the first things where you actually don't want to be the favorite, because you have I would have to look at the win-loss percentage, but I have to imagine that the challenger in that situation has a much higher chance of winning than the actual people that are on the game.
Yeah, and you kind of know that Richard Dawson was doing stuff he shouldn't have been doing anyways. He you know that he slanted that to get the win to the team he wanted. That was sketchy. He was kind of sketchy. Who was press? Was that Mark Summers? Does that sound right? I don't know who that was.
Maybe. Samuel,
can we get a little?
Now, Press Your Luck. What I loved about it is that very little skill involved, complete savagery. Like, it was great.
Well, remember though, to get spins, you had to answer questions and stuff. There was a trivia component to it. My parents, this goes back another generation. My parents loved the Gong Show. Do you remember the Gong Show?
Oh, my parents. Yeah.
Chuck Barris, just.
It's too campy. You watch it; it does not hold up, in my opinion. Not a fan. I could watch Price is Right all day, but no go on the on the Gong Show. Press Your Luck though is great. Like, no whammies, no whammies. Stop and all.
You were right though. Like, it was like zero scale. It was just like
the people acted crazy.
Yes,
they acted crazy when they went. Yes.
Peter
Tomarken.
You're right. Your pronunciation is not quite right. I think it's Peter Tomarken. Peter Tomarken is what it was. Yeah, but good pull on that. Favorite game on Price is Right?
Oh, Plinko, 100%.
Okay, so Plinko's up there, but the yodeling mountain guy was pretty good too when he would go up the mountain.
Kind of forgot about that. That was good too. Yeah,
he was a good one. Yeah. They had some and the putting game was good too, because with all due respect, they were terrible. Nobody could make a putt for their life.
Well, and I saw a recent documentary. I think it was like might have been a Netflix documentary on Price is Right, how the guys studied all of the prices and how successful he was. Like, these guys were insane. They were absolutely insane. They knew exactly, like, there was this whole contingency of people that were like hardcore,
like trying to get on the show.
Yeah,
so that when they got on there, they'd have the best chance.
Yeah, and they were good.
Wow.
And they were really good.
Yeah.
And it was like kind of fixed, almost like they knew the prices really well. And some of that stuff you looked at and you're like, what, $800 for that? And then something else was way off.
Yeah, right.
The price,
right.
But they knew, like, they would look through catalogs and stuff and know that that was that price. That, like, Panasonic.
Yeah, right.
Tube TV was actually like $813.
Camcorder with the full size VHS tape that went inside of it.
Sammy doesn't even know what we're talking about.
No, he has no idea.
Come on, man.
No idea.
Yeah.
Watch that documentary, and I agree. It's crazy that they never changed the prices.
Yeah. So my theory on that is that they're California prices. So
could be, sure,
because you had everything kind of inflated out of those.
Right.
So I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. But definitely a must watch. I would say it was super fun to watch that.
I enjoyed it. I didn't love Prices Right. That was okay. It just it was fine.
So what was your game show?
I mean, I liked $100,000 Pyramid a lot.
That's a good
That was
one.
good. That was good. Push Your Luck was good for sure.
I never knew that Hollywood Squares contained the ridiculous amount. Like as a kid, like everything that they said was a sexual innuendo, and
my
you're like,
God, dude.
wow, these
Those
guys
shows
are all
they're
like
terrible.
or
Yeah.
like perverts, and you're
dude.
like, wow, like I was a little
a
kid
lot of
watching
those
that.
shows. Yeah,
Yeah.
They were like they'd get people on there, and you'd be like, I don't think you could say that, and then they just would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like Gilbert Gottfried, and it's like, oh boy, what's coming out of his mouth? And as a little kid, you're just like, yeah, okay, you know.
It was
you
great
know,
because like those shows were kind of like the Survivor-esque like C-level celebrity shows that they have now.
yes,
Like when your career wasn't quite going right, you'd go on Hollywood Squares, and
That's right.
you know, they were. I never saw Paul Newman on Hollywood Squares. I don't remember that, maybe,
No.
but I don't think so.
they're like the guy from the Wonder Years. Yeah.
Not Fred Savage.
No,
Other guy.
the other guy. Fred Savage in his long, distinguished career. See?
I'll tell you what though, he's a director now. It's crazy. Like he directs. Like I think he directed some like Modern Family episodes and stuff.
Actually, if you look at his IMDb,
it's
like
interesting.
pretty,
Yeah.
like pretty well accomplished.
Right. Griff was pretty upset when he saw that we were doing the podcast on iPhones. He's like, no, don't. That's not a good idea. Don't be doing that.
It's totally fine.
Yeah, he was a camera guy. He was like, just get a camera. It's not, you know.
We're gonna do switching cameras when Samuel gets all back up, you know, and running here. We're gonna get all the rest of the equipment he needs, and it'll be perfect.
Be like a
There we go.
highly produced Martin Scorsese film world.
I mean, we don't need to have him spend that much time with this.
$87.
Time is money a little bit. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I really want to see his new movie, and it's like 3.5 hours long.
I'm out on movies
man.
that long. Just opt out.
I mean, Oppenheimer was fantastic, but like you definitely noticed when you were in that third hour, you were like, "Ooh, man, this is a commitment."
Editing.
I mean, yeah. Otherwise, it gets a little self-righteous. Like, holy cow! Like, you can't tell a story in 3 hours. I mean, holy cow!
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
That's
Once
something out of there.
Quentin Tarantino had really long movies, he doesn't even do the really long movie anymore. Like,
Yeah, kind of. You know, that's what it is.
can you tell it in 2.5 hours? I think you can tell any story.
I think
in
so,
2.5 hours,
right? I mean,
It's like you
give
can
him
tell-
creative liberty, and there it goes. So, all right, we done here? Is this
think we are.
is this the end of the road here?
Yeah.
We're down a little. We lost one camera, maybe, possibly. So, kind of limping across the finish line, but that's okay.
That's good.
It's okay.
Still gold.
Give Samuel something to work on.
That's right.
It's too good the first time out of the box. Then where are you going from there?
That's true. We're gonna have different shots. We're gonna have just wait until you see our
Graphics
video podcast.
Oh.
6 months from now, it's
Get
just gonna be.
ready.
That's right.
Yeah.
So welcome Samuel, and welcome back audience to the new and improved Give Me Some Truth.
Walkner Condon Financial Advisors is a registered investment advisor with the SEC. Registration with the SEC does not imply a certain level of skill or training. The opinions expressed by the participants of this podcast are their own and do not reflect the opinions of Walkner Condon Financial Advisors. All statements and opinions expressed are based upon information considered reliable, although it should not be relied upon as such. Any statements or opinions are subject to change without notice. Information presented is for educational purposes only and does not intend to make an offer or solicitation for the sale or purchase of any specific securities, investments, or investment strategies. Investments involve risk and, unless otherwise stated, are not guaranteed. Information expressed does not take into account your specific situation or objectives and is not intended as recommendations appropriate for any individual. Viewers are encouraged to seek advice from a qualified tax, legal, or investment advisor to determine whether any information presented may be suitable for their specific situation. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
You gotta leave your money behind you. Raise your hand to the sky. Ask the masses for silence.